I've kind of wanted to do a video on the "Don't Say Gay" bill, and I wasn't really sure how much in depth I wanted to go into and like what I wanted to explain, or if I was just preaching to the choir. But the thing is, look, what the actual content of the "Don't Say Gay" bill is basically, don't teach explicit sexual material to children between the ages of 5 and 9. I don't know about you guys, but when I was in school, I got sex ed when I was 14, okay, which is a more appropriate age for that kind of shit. Now, the thing is, the whole sort of uh, activist outreach towards children is almost universally predatory. Every single time that you look into one of these groups of sexuality type activists of any kind that uh, communicate and propagandize to children, you encounter predators. You know, remember Drag Queen Story Hour? There were like two different organizations doing that, and both of them had arrests for child porn amongst their members. Do you remember the "We'll Convert Your Children," that song by the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir a couple years ago? Yeah, guess how many of those guys are convicted sex offenders? About a dozen of them. And I mean like convicted as in targeting minors. Yeah. Look, it's an unfortunate fact, a statistical fact, that gays are overrepresented in child molestation, okay? They're about 40% of offenders and they're about 2% of the population. And what a coincidence, about 40% of gay people, statistically, were sexually abused by a same-sex abuser as children. Have you considered that not every gay person was born that way? That it's possible, because you better believe that childhood trauma informs a significant number of sexual fetishes and kinks, that it is entirely possible that homosexuality might be something that can be passed on through a means other than genes. And it's not wrong, whether or not we live in a society that tolerates gay people, it's not wrong to say that children should be protected from any kind of sexual proselytizing, any kind of sexual exposure. At the very least, in this world where free porn is instantly accessible at the click of a button, millions of hours of it. I don't even know how any of these porn companies make money anymore. It could be that maybe making money isn't the point of what they do. Have you thought about that either? That a lot of this shit you see that is degenerate and wrong and predatory in the world that you see, financial gain and greed is not the motivation. Get woke, go broke is a lie. That the point is corruption. That there are actual malicious actors out there who are willfully and knowingly doing evil. And if you ask me, just protecting 5 to 9 year olds or 5 to 7 year olds or whatever the hell the bill was saying, it's too little. Look, you really shouldn't be teaching sex ed until high school. And a lot of people are like, oh if you don't teach people, then they won't know what they're doing when they're banging each other at 13. Have you considered that they shouldn't be doing that? Now, I know that it's up to the parents to try to stop their kids from just ruining their lives before they even get to high school. However, it also should be up to the parents whether or not children are taught some sick and disgusting shit and are exposed to predators in school. In fucking public school, where we all pay our tax dollars, okay? You can't proselytize religion to children in school because it's a government entity and the government isn't allowed to interfere in that. But apparently, you're allowed to prey on children in any other number of ways. And there's a reason why the left is in these ethno-religious groups that I'm constantly harping on are always trying to target children. It's the same reason why they want to try to lower the voting age, why they want to lower the age of consent and everything, is because rational, sane adults are conservative, at the least. And if you ask me, conservatism is its own failed cause, just like public education is a failed cause. The Lolberts were correct when they said we should abolish the Department of Education. It's a failed experiment. It's a farce, okay? Standardized testing is an intellectual holocaust, okay? Everything's fucked right now. The Zoomers are going to fucking burn the world, probably. And it's our fault for letting them be destroyed like this. The reason why I have a channel like this and talk about things like this is because everything that's happening is preventable. But the thing is, unfortunately, most people are dumb and highly suggestible, and evil in this world depends on the dumbness and the suggestibility and the myopia and the gullibility of regular people. And if nobody who's paying attention tries to protect, at the very least, fucking kids from the consequences of this kind of shit, then we just live in an evil world and we're all screwed, okay? And, you know, you don't have to be as black-pilled as me, but at the very least, I think we can all agree that regardless of whether or not you're some kind of liberal or libertarian, regardless of whether you're a conservative or a fucking neo-Nazi or whatever the fuck you are, or a commie or a tanky, can we leave kids out of it? Can we at least get kids up to puberty before we start trying to destroy them and warp their minds, okay? I don't go around spreading my political philosophy to kids because they're fucking kids. They wouldn't get it. It would be inappropriate. They would have malformed conclusions based on the fact that they're a fucking kid with like the fucking skulls are barely fused, let alone is their brain developed. But of course, the left depends on the suggestibility, the gullibility, the innocence and naivete of fucking children. They depend upon that kind of ignorance, because anybody knowledgeable can see very clearly what they're doing, and it requires a level of insanity or derangement to not see it, okay? Ask any freaking political person down the street, have you heard of the Don't Say Gay bill? Do you know what's in it? Okay? This is unfortunately the fact with all politics. Like whenever you hear a guy like Cenk Uygur say, oh yeah, all of America is progressive. Well, yeah, if you tell them that money grows on trees and that they should all be allowed to have some, in the bourgeoisie and the government aren't letting them have the money that grows on trees, they'll be okay with that. But when they tell them that the government actually has no money trees and that every single fucking thing that the progressives want to promise the public has to be paid for with tax dollars and heavy regulation and restriction, you'll watch the progressive agenda meet virtually no public enthusiasm or acceptance at fucking all. You have to lie and misrepresent everything to people to get them to be left of center at all. And the more you address the truth, the further right you will become, to the point where that even conservatives will disgust you, because they are disgusting. But that's a topic for another video. Thanks for watching.